Welcome back to Totally Integrated Instrumentation. We're going to take a look at a technology module that's just been released by Siemens. So what is a technology module? So rather than having a controller or a transmitter with a display, the more compact approach is to have a remote sensor, and in this case it's a digital sensor from Siemens, connected straight into a PLC input card. And for this, Siemens are using the ET200SP Remote IO, which is Profinet or Profibus DP Remote IO, or it can be, as you can see here, this is an ET200SP CPU. But most of the time we're using this as Remote IO. The technology module itself will power the sensor and bring all of the diagnostics and process data back to the CPU via the Remote IO. The benefits of this obviously is space saving. If you're looking at your process values via a control room, and in this case it's WinCC Professional, which is a SCADA, then you may not need a display out on site because nobody really looks at the displays, everything's being looked at from the control room. So what it means is we can communicate a lot more diagnostic and process values across the back plane of this communication I/O, and that's referred to as the P-bus. So it tends to be a lot quicker. We can get more information through there without doing things like acyclic read writes and programming additional functionality. So it speeds up the commissioning, it's more accurate because it's digital. And as you can see there on the right hand side, it's compatible with the Siemens Coriolis meters. So we're looking at the Flow Coriolis sensor 400 and 300, and then the low flow portfolio starting from 1.5mm up to DN15. So single tube for the smaller flow meters, and then 2 tubes for the larger, so 1.5 to DN150, and this card is enough to power all of those different size of transmitters. It is designed to connect to this digital sense link, so when you're specifying these smaller meters you can have these with purely an analog output, or you can convert them to a digital, which we need to interface to the FCT070. So if you go into the smaller sensors, you need to add this remote DSL link. You can see it there on a wall mount bracket. That will have a blue cable that connects to the smaller sensors, because these are that small that we can't mount the electronics on top. And when you go from your 3mm, 6mm and 15mm sensors, they look like this, and we can mount that DSL on the top of the pedestal. So it's you know, a neater solution in that way. So looking at the part numbers, it shows a barrier package there. The ET200SP is rated for Zone 2 when it's used in a suitable enclosure, and that's for all of the I/O cards really on there, unless there's any special stipulation. You can see there the part number of the FCT070. If the sensor is connected in a Zone 2, then no additional barriers are required. If it's going into a Zone 1, then you need to use the i300 barrier, which is a Modbus barrier, but it's also protecting the power supply going to the sensor as well. So the wiring is pretty simple. At the bottom you've got your power supply in, and then you've got your 4 sensor connections, and 2 of those are power, and 2 are a Modbus connection to the digital sense link. So it's a 4-wire Ethernet cable that we recommend. So you can either purchase that with the flow meter, and it is a higher quality cable than your conventional Ethernet cable. It's much more robust, but there's no reason why you couldn't use your standard high-speed Ethernet cable for that. And normally your color codes, your power is orange, your 0 volts is yellow, and then A is blue and B is white, and you just have to wire those up so they match the other end. So once you've got that wired up, as you can see from the images, when you first plug it in, what it will do, the FCT070 will look for the DSL and establish a link, and you can see that the little link light coming on at the bottom, and there on the right hand side I'm just showing you what it looks like diagnostic wise when you remove that connection. So you get the link light go off, and you get a process alarm lights come on as well. So it's relatively easy to wire up because it's Modbus over Ethernet cable. Theoretically, even though I wouldn't push this, you can go to 1,000 meters with Modbus. There is an end of line terminator switch in this DSL box, so just be careful for those longer distances. You may need to turn those on. Easily I've done installations with these remote DSLs 80 meters, and it's not been a problem at all. The last thing we need to look at is how you specify the parts when you're ordering this is a complete system. At the time of going to press, so we're looking at July 2020, this product is not in the TIA portal selection tool. There's a bit of a backlog, and hopefully that will be in there around September time 2020. So I'll do another video for that. But at the moment we're in the PIA lifecycle portal, which is the free to use tool from Siemens for checking your part numbers and sizing flow meters. If we go to the landing page, so you'll start here at home, you have the option for looking at the different parts. So if we use the pull down menu, and I'll take you to the Coriolis flow meters, you can see here flow measurement Coriolis, and we've got a few options. We have the FCS 300 and the FCS 400 are the two tube sensor variants, and then we have the smaller sizes, the MAS 2100s. So let's start with the 300, which is the more common sensor. So if you select that, it will take you to the part number build-up. And this sensor varies from, and really the only part of the part number that changes when you're selecting the sensor is the transmitter variance, and you can see here it's the first bit that comes up. So when I'm using this with a FCT070, I select option 7, and then I just go through the normal process of selecting my sensor. So when you get to this section where you're looking at mounting style, you have 2 options. You can either have an M12 quick connect, or you can just have an M20 or an MPT cable gland entry and you wire yourself. If you want to keep the cost down, option K is the lower cost option. And then we just got to go through our approvals. There's no local interface on this, so it's DSL only, and then the rest of the options are just your cable glands and approvals. So when we've got the sensor configured, Some of the options, you may want to add a cable to that. So this is where you need to be careful whether you've picked it with an M12 quick connect or just 4-wire cable. And here you've got the option for no sensor cable if you're going to supply your own high-speed Ethernet cable. So we'll add 5 meters of cable, and then you can add that to your watch list. And the next bit is to add the transmitter itself, and that's relatively easy because it's just one part number, and I can add that to my watch list. I've already added it in the watch list, so you need to make a note of this part number. So we've almost got a complete system. If we had TIA portal selection tool functioning correctly, you would select your card and it would pull in automatically the correct backplane connector for this. So these cards can be hot swappable, okay, as you've seen previously on the video. Now this card at the moment seems to be the only card that will function with this. So this is the connection card. You can see the picture on the right hand side. So you need to add that for each FCT070. So that there is a complete system. Your sensor with cable, your backplane connector, and the FCT070 itself. Everything else is a free download. So I hope you found the overview of the new Coriolis card useful, and as I always say, please hit that like button and feel free to comment, good or bad. Any feedback is appreciated, and thanks for your support. And please stay tuned to the next 2 videos that show you how to integrate this card into TIA Portal and WinCC Professional. Thanks a lot.